And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's, I believe, the 17th of July, 2026. And we're here on our software, on our iPhone, doing radio today in New York City. Hope you're having a good day. I see that where I live in Florida, major league thunderstorms. But it's nice here. As always, we have lots to cover. This is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry. The Morlocks in D.C. Wait till you hear the latest. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to explain myself on certain things, but I'm going to try to when we discuss the nonsense emanating from DC, which, by the way, in case you don't know, affects you and the markets and your money and your jobs and a lot more and a lot more and a lot more. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. If you like to email us, just be nice. So let me start out by saying, you know where we were coming into today. Nasdaq 100 under pressure, semiconductors under pressure, the artificial intelligence trade under pressure. Other areas of the market were getting that juice. But a lot of what we say, a lot of jello is moving on the plate. And got to be careful. Specifically today, may I state for the record, a lot of jello moving on the plate. Good and not so good. And it is imperative that you are able to avoid the disasters. And for the record, there have been some disasters. The market's going to close in about 15 minutes. We'll take you into the close. As of right now, the Dow's down 340. The Nasdaq's down 340. The S&P's down a little less than 1%. Advanced declines are putrid. 14 to 29 on the New York, 15 to 28 on the Nasdaq. You ready for this? More than 2 to 1 new yearly lows on the Nasdaq than new yearly highs. So it's rough out there. What I am not thrilled with today, you know how we speak to you about what we call positive rotation? Here's what positive rotation is. It is when a strong area of the market goes too far or just decides to stop and pulls back. But that money flows in to other areas that were either doing nothing or sitting around. And lately, we have had what we call positive rotation. They came after the semis and the AI, artificial intelligence, but they bought up some of the big mega cap tech, financials, retail, other stuff I'm wondering, did that end today? Because as we get to the close today, it's a very rough day for retail, a very rough day for housing, a very rough day for airlines, a very rough day for financials. Besides the fact the Nasdaq's down in the Nasdaq 100, I will say to the better is you're getting bounces in some of the artificial intelligence stuff and some of the semis. Not all. Not all. That worries me. What we don't want to get into is negative rotation, where markets pull in, the bear markets bounce, or the bearish markets bounce, while the other things are sold into. So we're just letting you know, not thrilled with today. And by the way, we have had days where the Dow was down 300 and the Nasdaq was down 300, and we weren't sweating it so much. Today, a little bit different. Things that are sticking out for me. Goldman Sachs, a monstrous move on earnings. A monstrous move on earnings. And yesterday, drops like $50, and today it's down another $25. It was down worse, but I'm not so sure that should happen. That's for instance. Morgan Stanley hit even more after earnings, though off the lows again. It was much worse earlier. And I can go on with that list, but you get my point when it comes to that. Just some things sticking out. And by the way, the Dow's down 350 with Travelers up 31. They beat Wall Street estimates by like 80%. That hardly ever happens. So Travelers, great day. The insurance stocks, a good day. They were having a great day, but I guess the market has been no real help. But as I look down my screen on the financials, boy, regional banks broke out yesterday, pulling today. Things like that. And then the retail. As we have said to you, there's been only a few retail stocks in what we would call potential bullish mode. But yesterday, for instance, Burlington, for instance, breaks out to new highs. It's up like $12. It's down 12 today. In a good market for these areas, not so sure that should happen. Not so sure. Alphabet, down another almost 9 today. They announced a delay for their Gemini. The stock just drops 20 some odd dollars in a day and a half. I don't know if that's good news. You know, Meta's been coming out with all kinds of good news, and the stock is down a measly $35 the last 2 days. I'm not sure that's good news. SpaceX, down another 7 today. 124, $11 off the initial public offering, not even the aftermarket. And you know why I even bring up SpaceX on that? Because earlier, they had news to provide computing power to the Pentagon for artificial intelligence. The stock ran up to $130 and just tanked. I don't think that happens in a good market. So we're just letting you know today, chaotic day. Advanced declines bad, new highs, new lows bad. And some of the areas that we're getting rotated into, not good. Hey, up next, we'll continue along these lines. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Oil price is up $3 today because we're knocking out some bridges in Iran. Remember what we have told you for a while now. We don't pretend to be General Patton or Norman Schwarzkopf, but I think we're pretty good at reading things in a logical fashion. We have been saying for a very long while that this was a gargantuan miscalculation on the part of this administration on what they did with Iran. Completely blew it, did not plan for what the other side would do or was capable of doing. And we're just in the soup. The president can come out and state every day, oh, we're beating the crap out of their military. I could have done that. There's been no regime change. The next one is in there is worse than the last one. The president keeps lying about the control of the strait. And just a blatant lie that we control it. It's amazing that he's looking into the camera and even say that. And we're still going back and forth. We're still going back and forth. We're now into the mid-July. And as you know, he's out every day. They want to make a deal. They called me. It's just all blatant lies. And as I've said for a long time, he should just shut up. Shut up. And figure out a way to get out of this. They did a good job militarily. Again, I could have done that. But the rest of it has been an F-. I'm pretty sure part of doing something like this is, well, what do you think they are capable of doing back? Just my take. So oil prices are back. And by the way, there's no way he wants this to escalate back to where it was at the beginning when we were just, the whole rigmarole. And the hope is we don't have to get there. The question is Iran going to do something really stupid to force us into something like that? And again, this matters. Oil prices. In case you don't know, airline stocks getting hit pretty good today. And they've actually been getting hit pretty good since oil prices bottomed a few days ago. Duh. As well as other things that use a lot of petroleum. That's going on. And of course, I don't think it helps the market. Duh. And fundamentally, the pocketbook. You're going to be paying more at the pump if it sticks. So that's a little bit of that. And we'll have one big other complaint about what's going on at the White House in a little while. It's stunning. What else? As we close the market, Dow's down 370, S&P 71, Nasdaq 339, Nasdaq 100, 400. What else? Transport's only down 100 today, but advanced declines, up, down volume, new highs, new lows on the very negative side. In the Dow, Travelers up 31 and change, the big help, but Goldman down 29, offsetting. And just decent amount of red. As we mentioned, Google's now in the Dow's down 7.5 today, got trash yesterday. Mentioned financials, American Express down another 6 today. JP Morgan only down 2, that's okay. Nvidia down 5. The Semiconductors. So call me less than thrilled with what I consider negative rotation versus some positive rotation we've had just recently. Don't want to see too many days like today. I will say some of the AI names that have been rattled, 20, 30, 40% drops, they opened very badly today. I have a bunch that have finished up today. Seagate finished up 38, Western Digital up 10. I will say SanDisk was up 50, 60 bucks at one time today, but is closing down 50. That's not good news. So mixed bag there. And as I've said to you, the market's been buying up the Mag 7, but we're not touching them because they all report soon. Not a good day there. Wish I had better news to tell you there. Next week, gargantuan earnings week. The week after, even more gargantuan earnings week. The week after, another big week, but it starts slowing down. We get up earlier, we stay later to look at the pre-market movers on earnings. And what we'll do is chart the pre-market moves, especially the big reactions, both up and down. And of course, after the close also. And of course, we'll also look for the sympathy moves. You know, if a big stock in a group is up huge, what's going along with it to the upside and what's going along with it to the downside. So that starts next week in earnest. I'm very disappointed in how these banks finished the week after starting off pretty damn well. Real good reactions on their reports. Nothing but drops since. And I watch Goldman very closely because it's in the Dow. It's dropped 80 bucks in the last 2 days after going up 90 bucks on earnings. Got a lot of questions on my commentary on Oracle. It's just I'm questioning what is the market saying about Oracle? A mainstay of software names that has gone from 350 to 126 since the highs and down 50% in the last few weeks while software has rallied up. It has me asking questions. Up next, what else we got? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. We were asked by several to explain the whole SpaceX, which is becoming a disaster. So they have an initial public offering, $135. And the first thing we're saying to ourselves, that's a $1.7 trillion market cap. What weed are they smoking? And what do we mean by that? The company only has $18 billion in revenues the past year. Forget what they may do in the future. We have to deal with current. On top of that, they lost $5 billion in the last year. On top of that, they have big time negative cash flow. On top of that, they did a $25 billion bond deal. On top of that, there's risk. They put rockets in the air. Just so you know, they just had to delay one because of an engine issue. Duh. And the stocks tanked off of that. But we go back to the initial public offering. We're already telling you, wow. And just so you know, the investment banker's job really is to get the most for their client, the company. But the job is also to stabilize the stock and not have it go awry. Well, they open it, and they opened it at 150, so cool. Ridiculous valuation. But what did you have Wall Street do? Shout and tout. Shout and tout. And within a day, it goes to $226. Last I looked, it's like a $2.6, $2.7 trillion market cap with those numbers. And what are we telling you? As it's going up, we have no edge. If we decided to trade it, we'd have no edge at any moment in time. And we only wish we bought the stock the first day. The close of the first day was just over 160. The next day it hit 190. The third day it hit 225 before closing at about 202. But we had no edge. And we had no edge in the next 3 days when it dropped back to 155. Bounced it up to 170. Dropped it back to like 158, and since then, it's dived. And we repeat, we have no edge, except we told you 150 is going to be important. Why? That's where they opened it. If it goes below 150, that means everybody in the aftermarket is losing money. And typically, our exact words will invite selling. For a few days, they held it. And then party over. And guess what? We were right. It invited selling. Because people don't have patience when they're hyped and touted. What? And we're hearing the average purchase. I don't know if this is true. The average purchase is 180 something. Not good. So what was the next area? Hell, do not break 135, the initial public offering, and one would think the investment bankers would try to stabilize it. But they couldn't. And it's closed at 123.5 today. It's a disaster. And it still has a $1.6 trillion market cap with $18 billion in revenues, lost $5 billion, had to raise $25 billion, risk with rockets. And I'm asked every day now, you think now? And we're just going to tell you, we have no edge. And now it's in a downtrend. Short run, but in a downtrend. Good luck. That's the whole story. They shouted, they touted, they got it moving. Screw it, we're out. Valuation's a joke. Back to the aftermarket open, couldn't hold it. See ya down at the IPO open, couldn't hold it. Boom. And it's still got a ridiculous valuation. That's the story. And that's how we told it to you. And we didn't tell you to buy, sell, short, or cover. All we kept saying is, do you want to pay $1.7 trillion for a company with $18 billion in revenues and lost $5 billion, not knowing Who knows if the stock would have been $300 now? We had no edge. And of course, it's also harming Tesla too now, which dropped another $11. Sympathy. Do we think they're going to have big numbers going forward? Hell yes. But the market's dealing with current and the unknown. And there's your story. And by the way, we also had precedent. For the last couple of years, all we've been talking about is all these initial public offerings coming out too hot and crashing. I think at least more than a dozen times we went through a bunch of initial public offerings just to tell you where they opened and where they are now, with some down 90%. If you walked in to a Toyota dealership to buy a Highlander, are you going to pay the price that you would pay for a Bentley? Now that may sound like an outrageous analogy. It's not. It's not. And now the stock, by the way, 220 down $102 on 225. You're talking in the 40s. And very quickly also. And now I hear Anthropic's going to go public. Let's hope they're not stupid with that. And by the way, it should cut into its offering price, just what's happening with SpaceX. We wish we had better news. But this company's stock, IPO, should have come out at 50 or 60 bucks. And if they were selling pipes, the stock's worth 10. The hope is the numbers that are being bandied about come through. I'll own the stock, but not with a $1.6 trillion market cap and current $18 billion in revenues with a $5 billion loss, negative cash flow, the risk of rockets, and then a $25 billion bond offering, raising debt. And by the way, you got to pay the interest as well as principal. So stay tuned. We'll keep covering it. But we gave you the potential warning shot. And we'll keep doing that going forward with anything that looks like this. And boy, there's been a lot in the last year or two. Between all the Trump stocks that have crashed, the froth areas that have crashed, no pun intended, but drones, nuclear, rare earth, quantum computing. You're welcome. Because we received hundreds of emails on these things that have no sales that get touted. Hey, up next, what else is going on with the world? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So I was on an airplane last night when the president did his speech, blah, 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 nothing. Blah, 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 nothing. Blah, 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 nothing. Blah, blah, blah. You lost the 2020 election. Get over it. Stop being a sore loser. And stop telling the world that the United States sucks. Because that's what he's doing. Can the election system improve? Always. But you lost. Enough. How is it in 2016 the election system was fine? And in 2024 the election system was fine? Oh, that's right, I won. Enough. Speaking of, as I have said to you, the things this president has been doing, setting the precedent, the self-dealing billions that he and his family are making. Sickening. Just sickening. Making Joe Biden, his family, that corrupt outfit like pikers. And complete immunity. Doesn't matter. They don't even care. Oh, the son just got $600 million loan for a company, startup in the drone or whatever business. What the hell's with that? So who knows what the next person's going to do? Anyway, let me read this to you. Donald Trump's social media company has discussed charging traders and investors as much as $100,000 a month. You ready for this? For faster access to the U.S. president's posts on his Truth Social platform. A paid-for licensed data feed called Truth API to provide banks and trading firms information first before everybody else. I can't begin to tell you how sick this is. I cannot begin to tell you how illegal this is. Now, I don't know if they're going to go through with it or not. The fact that they're even thinking about it is ill. And as we have told you, this president has traded on dozens and dozens of companies and then promotes them on Truth Social afterwards. I'm going to jail for that. And boy, oh boy, if the Dems win the House, they're going to investigate every freaking insider trade that has gone on before the president changed his mind on attacking or not attacking and shorting oil and longing oil and shorting the market and longing the market. Do you know how many billions of dollars were made by people? That's all going to be found out. And now this is what they're thinking about? Having people front run you and I? That's exactly what it is. Hey, I'm going to pay the president $100,000 a month, which is ill in the first place. For him promoting something before you and I, us, the peons, get it. I don't even know what to say to this. It's so insane. It's insane. It's lunacy. And by the way, I'm waiting for them to shoot it down. I'm waiting for somebody in the administration to come out and say, no, we ain't doing that. They haven't said anything. And in case you don't know, this president, between Liberation Day and getting rid of Liberation Day, trade restrictions on China, then taking them off, bombing Iran, then deciding not to, has sharply moved markets both ways that were traded on by who knows who. And for all you people that love this man and may want to email me and curse me out, you know I'm right. That if this was anybody else on the left doing this, you'd be going nuts. So, let's hope this gets shot down. Let's hope they get rid of it. I'd be thrilled. And by the way, I take no joy in any of this. But this is the self-dealer-in-chief. He's made billions off of the presidency. with his sons. And don't get me started on the son-in-law. So what's the next person going to do? And the next. And the next. That's all. And you all know I'm right. It's lunacy. And it affects you. The front running of markets? How do you feel? At the close, down 406. Goldman down 30, but Travelers up 31. But a lot, let's see, Amgen down 6, American Express down 6, Honeywell down 6, Google down 8, we mentioned that, Home Depot down 9, Microsoft down 8, McDonald's down 6, Nvidia down 5. Going to be interesting weekend of scanning. You'll have a great weekend. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well, be well. Until Monday. Good night, all. Bye-bye.